Good morning, everyone. May is a very special month, right? It's the month of Mother's Day weekend that we're all getting ready for. We just had May Day, but of course, there is another very important day in May that I wanted to celebrate today, which is the unforgettable Cinco de Mayo. So today, for Cinco de Mayo, I'm proud to recognize very good friends of mine, an inspirational group known as Chicano Hollywood, a bold, unapologetic platform that is not only reshaping the narrative for Mexican Americans and Latino in the entertainment industry, but also for reclaiming part of what I call taking back Cinco de Mayo, taking back what people see as these Mexican American holidays through authentic, transformative storytelling. Many don't realize that Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day. That is celebrated in September. And it's not really a major holiday in Mexico. It's just another day. But it does commemorate a single battle, the Battle of Puebla, when an outnumbered and outgunned Mexican army defeated the mighty French forces on May 5th, 1862. In retrospect, it's almost comical just how much attention it gets here in the States. Once upon a time here in the States, in the 1960s and 70s, young Chicanos, many who were students, workers, and organizers, began standing up against deep-rooted racism, inequality in schools, exploitation, exploitative labor conditions, and a lack of political representation. So they made it become a symbol of cultural pride and resistance, evolving into a time to reflect on the battles we fought and won, and a reminder that our community cannot be easily defeated, even when outnumbered. So over time, though that symbolism from the Chicano student movement has diluted, we know that it's become super commercialized, and here's my contribution, excuse me, to trying to take away from the commercialization and into something more about storytelling about Mexican Americans. And that is why today I wanted to introduce everyone in chamber and everybody who watches to Chicano Hollywood. It is a platform where you can get access both on social media, TV platforms, much better access to true, authentic Mexican American stories. So today you will hear more about it through the founder, Johnny Murillo. Chicano Hollywood is, as I mentioned, in multiple platforms. So I'll let you be the one to tell us more about that. But under Johnny's leadership, it's building a movement that empowers Mexican Americans and Latino content creators to tell their own stories on their own terms with authenticity, dignity, and pride. And depending on who the creator is, a lot of times, lots of comedy. So from actors and writers to filmmakers, makeup artists, editors, producers, influencers, comedians, so much more. This is his way of elevating a new generation of talent that refuses to be sidelined. Their motto is clear: Chicano is a culture, not a color. It's a call to reclaim identity, visibility, and cultural space, not just in Hollywood, but across all platforms of storytelling influence. So today we honor a collective of creatives, visionaries who have turned their lived experiences into narratives that challenge stereotypes, uplift our community, and breathe new life into the spirit of Cinco de Mayo, especially here locally in Los Angeles. So with that, I'm proud to introduce the founder of Chicano Hollywood, Johnny Murillo, a visionary leader, producer, and champion for our stories.
Thank you. Thank you for this honor of being here. I'll put that a little taller. I'm a little taller than Imelda, than council member. Thank you so much, council, for allowing us this space and time just to share who we are. We are a collective. There's not one particular person greater than the other in this group here, but instead we are a collective of Chicano Latino professionals in the entertainment business that are now striving hard and working hard to not only achieve greater levels for us, but also to pull those behind underneath us as well. I say it all the time that the days are over when Latinos step on each other to get to the other side. Now we're going to lock arms and get to the top together. So what you see here is just a symbol of just the many. We have over 100,000 followers across the nation. Here in LA, this is our base. This is our home. And it was out of this, a movie that we shot here right after COVID called Horchata With Oatmilk that this movement started. And along the way, we have so many that have grown and connected with us with branches across the nation. But just here behind me, I want to just point out a few of the people so you recognize who's here. Over to my left, you have Kaden Phoenix, who is reclaiming the position as Latina superheroes. Her mission is to create superheroes in anime and in live action so that our young girls and young men can see that we also can be a superhero. We don't have to just look at Marvel or DC. We have the Latina superheroes. That's Caden's mission, to build and grow. We also have Bernice from the streets to the set. Her mission, pulling people off the streets and get them into production. And she's got them on shows with Hulu and herself as an actress as well, and other great platforms on Apple TV and so on. But taking them from gang members to now crew and talent in front and behind the cameras. We also have Blanca, who's way behind me over here. Her gift, her and her team's gift of Chola Vision, to take Shakespearean theatrical stories, Chicano them, and then put them on stage. And here again, you have, members that normally might have been on a prison walk, but now they're on the stage, dressed even, and reclaiming the Shakespearean stories of Romeo and Juliet and many others. So the art and crafts that you see behind us, I also have on over to my right over here, you have the director and the producer of Horchata With Oatmilk, a new movie that came out that's just going viral, and it was on that set that we launched this movement. So here you have the new voices as directors and producers, Chris and Jeff Reyes. And you see also talent like Anthony here and Alex back over here. So they are just talents that are taking lead roles and Apple. And as a matter of fact, if you drink Modelo, you're going to see his face all over the place. He's got a 3-year contract with them. So this is who we are. I'm looking around. Nacho back here. Can I say it? I'm going to say it. I don't care. 3 years ago, he hit me up. Or actually, I was connected to him. They said the warning they gave me was, well, he just got out of prison. He was a lifer. I said, I love that. Bring him on. I want him to be my production designer. And I didn't know he didn't know what he was doing, but he shows up and he pretended like he knew what he was doing. And now, 3 years later, he's a production designer for great projects, big movies, and art galleries, not just here in LA, but in New York City as well. We have our film festival director, Francisco, who is also putting together a collective of short films, documentaries, feature films, and so on in our film festival this coming July. And that's all to celebrate our voice. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody because I have 2 more speakers coming. But this is who we are. I tell people all the time, that's the Chicano voice. We're not competing with other Latinos. We just want to get to where we at because we were here first. And we want to just strive hard, build. We aren't the same, we're not the peasants anymore that people are looking for, the simpletons or anything like that. Who we are, we embody the spirit of Cinco de Mayo. When they rose up, that group rose up to fight the French, even though they were outnumbered. They didn't have the technology. They didn't have the training, but they fought hard and they made a historical stand. And that's what we're doing. It's time for us to take our place. So I have 2 more speakers that are going to come up. Kenneth. And then you do it. Was that it? Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, that was my word, all right?
That's how you know Johnny is the leader. He's more about who's behind him and bringing them up as opposed to, taking the spotlight. So thank you for those kind words. And yes, now we will go to Kenneth Castillo, a longtime Chicano director who has championed Chicano voices through film. He also mentors at-risk youth and up-and-coming Latino filmmakers, using storytelling, as we've been mentioning, as a powerful tool for healing and empowerment in our communities. Welcome to the podium, Kenneth.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this acknowledgement you guys are giving Chicano Hollywood, and in particular, Johnny Murillo. My name is Kenneth Castillo. I've been a filmmaker for 25 years. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, in the small harbor town, the port of Los Angeles, Wilmington. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. But I really wish that Chicano Hollywood had been there at the beginning of my career. It was a very long and lonely journey. I wasn't a film school graduate. I didn't have representation. I didn't know what I was doing. I had to learn a lot on my own. And there were many organizations that during the last 25 years that had come up with the goal of promoting and helping Latino talent. but I found that they all had a mission statement, but they didn't have a mission. And when Johnny reached out to me about 4 years ago, he said, the first thing that he sent to me was, hey, I'd like to talk to you about something. And having been a filmmaker for 20 years at that point, I'm like, that usually means someone wants something from me. But Johnny was very smart. He instead sent me an audio message, a voice message. And so I got to hear how genuine he was. And this was a man who didn't just have an idea, he had a plan. And I knew, and I felt confident that he could execute that plan. Everybody has ideas, but they're really cheap unless you can actually make something happen. So I took that meeting and I talked to him and I fell in love with him. I fell in love with you that day, 4 years ago. And he had a different perspective, and his ideas were, we need to elevate all of us together. We need to put everyone together. We need to utilize our audience because our audience will support our storytelling if we can get it out. And so that was a mission that I really wanted to be a part of. And I've watched Chicano Hollywood grow. It's not just been about the writers, directors, and the actors. He's had workshops to teach people how to be grips. He's had partnerships with Quixote Studios, which is huge, where they offered workshops on how to grip, how to light, how to be on set. His conference Elevate has been 2 years. I've made more connections in those 2 conferences than I've ever had in any of the other organizations that are out there. But it's been a real honor of me to be here when he invited me and gave me at least, 10 hours of notice that we were going to be speaking, Tanya? Okay. Sorry. But it also reminds me of the first Elevate conference 5 days before. And he said, listen, Ken, my wife and my daughters said that I shouldn't do the Legends panel and that you should do it. And I said, okay, cool, who's on it? He's all, it's no big deal. And I said, no, that's fine, who's on it? He's all, Edward James Olmos, Emilio Rivera, Luis Guzman. I go, yeah, sure, no problem. Give me 5 days notice and I'll talk to these legends. But I would always come to anything that he asked me to because of his genuineness, his authenticity, and more importantly, his honesty. And it's very hard to find people in this town who will do something and not want anything in return. His gift is his humility. But also his execution of the things that he wants to bring to fruition. So it really means a lot to me that you're acknowledging not just Chicano Hollywood, but Johnny Murillo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kenneth. Next, I want everybody to please join me in welcoming Betania Murillo, a recent Azusa Pacific University graduate in film and a creative director of Chicano Hollywood Música, where she uplifts Latino artists and helps shape the next generation of cultural change makers through music and media. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to Councilwoman Padilla. Your support has always just been so consistent and genuine, and it really does mean the world to us. So thank you, your team, to making today happen. Today is really special, not only getting to celebrate what Chicano Hollywood means to us as a movement, but today I get to celebrate what it means to us as a family business and really how far we've come. So much of our Elevate planning sessions is birthed from our kitchen table and our living room. And so we are really a Los Angeles small business, and it's so special to us to really be acknowledged by a city that means the world to us and births such great community. But I think about the conferences that we have annually, and it's about 500 plus people, and they walk away from those conferences saying, this doesn't feel like a normal Hollywood event, this feels like family. And that's birthed really just out of our love and our family giving right back into our community. And so I'm so thankful for how much our family has grown and the people behind me and the way that we come at the problem of Latino representation from every angle. And there's so much more work to be done. And so we thank you for this acknowledgement. And yeah, we're ready to keep working. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you to all the honorees joining us today. I know that this is a big network, but thank you for those of you who came. So from the filmmakers to the comedians to the digital content creators, thank you all for using this platform to, as I mentioned, redefine the representation of how we talk about the Mexican-American stories. So on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, it is my honor to present you with this certificate of recognition on behalf of the entire City of Los Angeles. with all of our signatures.
And Councilwoman, we have a few members on the queue as well, if you're ready for that.
Go for it.
Okay, so we'll start with Councilmember Price, followed by Councilmember Rodriguez. Oh, okay, Councilmember Rodriguez, followed by Councilmember Horado.
Come on, Curran, how are you taking a pass on this one? Councilmember Padilla, thank you for being the true Chicana in bringing in this presentation. It's really wonderful to have you all here. And the perfect correlation around Cinco de Mayo, because it was a fight of what was perceived as insurmountable to overcome. And what you all have collectively done is help to make space and force space in an environment that has always attempted to keep us out. So I want to thank you for that. You know, recently, a friend of mine just finished going to Broadway to see Josefina perform on Broadway, Real Women Have Curves. And it is a first, I think, for our community to really take that space, aside from, of course, Lin-Manuel Miranda and other Latinos that have been prominently in that space. But to have a Chicana in there doing that work, you all are making space at a time where politically we have continued to see this silencing of our community, this disparagement of our community, or this lack of respect for the fact that our voices should be represented by ourselves, that we are capable of leading diverse communities. You all are helping to make that space and force that conversation in a Hollywood that has historically never accepted or acknowledged us. So I want to thank you for that. We are more than just the gang stories. We are so much more than how we have been portrayed. And I want to thank you all for being that collective force to make that change. So thank you for doing it. Thank you for being unapologetically you. But thank you, Ms. Padilla, for helping to continue to bring these types of presentations forward, to being unrelenting in that Chicano pride, because we're taking space and we ain't leaving. So thank you for that.
Councilwoman Horado, followed by Councilmember McCosker.
Thank you, Councilmember Padilla, for honoring Chicano Hollywood. You know, I'm born and raised Highland Park, and Chicano art is in the heart of my district. I grew up with it. You know, we helped paint murals at our schools growing up. And so I appreciate Councilmember Padilla for making sure that Chicanos aren't just an asterisk in Hollywood, and that we're taking up space, and that she's giving you that space and making sure you got your shine on here in City Council, because like you said, you're not in the background, you're out here leading. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing. We love small businesses like yours that are able to succeed and push back on the stereotypes and show LA who we really are, which is a city that is multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic, but that Chicano community has so much to offer us and so much richness, and is at the forefront, really, of LA identity. So thank you, Councilmember Padilla and Chicano Hollywood.
Hey, thank you so much. I thought this was just awesome. When you guys are looking for your next superhero to feature, you look no further than Imelda Padilla, our very own superhero. It was just so great. You exude so much of a family, so much of a movement. It was just really, really inspiring to hear you speak. I appreciate you very much. I wanted to say to Kenneth, I represent Wilmington, so you're a son of the 1-5. I'm so glad you are here. I also wanted to just tell you something, just to put in the back of your minds. I represent the harbor area, and right at that intersection of San Pedro and Wilmington, where the Vincent Thomas Bridge is, there was a community when my dad was a kid that was called Mexican Hollywood. It was actually called Mexican Hollywood. It was a Latino community that, like so many stories in LA, got wiped out by a development, the bridge. And in the coming weeks, we're going to be recognizing Mexican Hollywood down in San Pedro. And it's actually the folks that remember, yeah, please, Imelda, I want you to be there, because the older generation, like my father's generation, my father grew up in something called Barton Hill neighborhood, and that's where he lived. And a lot of his contemporaries came together and said, we can't pass away and let this be forgotten. And it's very inspirational to me, just as you are inspirational to me. So I also appreciate taking back the holiday. As an Irish American, I'd like to take back St. Patrick's Day, so I'm gonna watch you guys. So thank you, and God bless you guys.
Thank you. Congratulations again, and back to you, Councilwoman.
Just a little point of personal privilege within the crowd. I do have to give a shout out to Mr. Jeff Reyes here, Echoes World, because he's my videographer. If you followed my campaign, this is the guy that did the get closer. This is the guy who told my story well in less than 90 seconds. Also, I want to make sure everybody writes it down. Where did it start? How did it all come together? The film is Horchata With Oatmilk. You will, if you pay attention closely, you will see that it was filmed during that little era between my time at the county and running for office, that I lost my mind after COVID and said I wanted to be a writer. You will see me in that film. And also, lastly, Councilmember Rodriguez, they do host their conference at the Quixote Theater in your district, so we'll invite you next time. All right, thank you all again, and happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone, and happy Mother's Day, everyone, too.